Welcome to Washington East to West Sports. This is episode 142. I am Matt Beatty, joined alongside, as usual, by Sean Beatty. Kevin Arledal, if you want to get involved in the show, go ahead and blue sky at us. I'm at Master B. Sean is Nasty Billy 22. Kevin is Emerald Bowler. On X, Sean is Nasty Billy 22. Kevin is C2 Believe, SEA to Believe. Subscribe to us on YouTube. Tell us what you think of the topics we talk about in the comments below. Like ours. We had our highest viewed video in a long time this last week. So thank you to whoever watched it. It might have been Sean and I's mom 59 times, but we'll see how this video does. But gentlemen, it's been a while. Let's jump into the Seattle Seahawks. And they have had four games since we were last on this podcast. They defeated the Arizona Cardinals 44-22 at home. Then they went to the Los Angeles Rams, lost 21-19. Then they went to the Tennessee Titans, won 30-24, and they are most recently coming off a 26-0 home victory against the Minnesota Vikings. Kevin, what have you thought of the Seahawks over this last month?
It's terrible. Fire everybody. Just literally, even Blitz, especially Blitz, he's been doing some crazy
Whoa.
stuff.
Wasn't he just
But
named to like the Mascot Hall of Fame or something?
yeah, but he said that tater tots are overrated.
No, he said tater tot casserole is
Casserole.
overrated.
I still like tater tot casserole, but yeah. So no, it's been pretty good. Overall, like I'm very happy with where one this defense is at. It's way better than what was to be expected to be on paper. Like Mike McDonald's coaching is just really, really good. It's kind of like what you're seeing with Ben Johnson and DeBayers on the offensive side. It's really, really good. It's kind of like what we thought. And it's so refreshing just to see it versus like I mean, yeah, I'll be always forever grateful for what Pete did with the LOB, but that was more just the LOB being really good players versus Pete's coaching schemes. Um, I mean, for a little bit, but some of his coaching schemes worked in his early part, but then the NFL adapted, and then he didn't adapt, and he still hasn't adapted as you're seeing it. But even our backups are playing to a higher scale level to where like it's really nice. To where like if somebody goes down, we're not nearly as worried just because you're just seeing dudes step up and play solid ball. Now, are they playing like elite? No, but I mean they're playing solid enough to where like we are still having a shot to be in the game, which is really nice. Um, Offensively, there's been a little bit of struggles with Sam Darnold. Part of that is on him, but as we've kind of mentioned, I think the majority of it is just this dude that just keeps sneaking out on the field named Anthony Bradford. I Apparently they just like him to just stand there and do nothing. It's
How does
pretty
he sneak
much
out on the field? He's pretty large. That's pretty crazy that he
right.
keeps doing that.
I think they know he's there. They're just like, yeah, just let him do it, type of deal. We're still winning games, so um, literally like seeing Reddit's reaction because he got hurt in this past game to where he was, but they were saying that it's most likely he'll probably be playing in Atlanta. And like the majority of the people are like, "Oh, you could just put him on season-ending AR. It's totally okay. Like like if you wanted to." I'm glad to see that other fans are noticing how terrible Anthony Bradford is. Like honestly, that lamp behind you, Matt, you could put that out there, and it'd probably be a better right guard than what Anthony Bradford's doing at the moment. To be honest,
It's kind of bold, but it might work.
yeah. Um, all other than that, I'm liking what we're doing. JSN is putting up some ridiculous numbers. And as me and Sean were discussing on Sunday, like there's a lot of fans who are like, "Oh, you need to feed JSN the ball." I'm like, "No, you need to feed whoever's open the ball." Like if JSN breaks Megatron's record, gravy. But you know what's better than gravy? A ring. Um, I like that better. I like Lombardi's better. So if it takes throwing it to Cooper Cup instead of him, or like doing checkdowns to the running backs instead of JSN because they're open and that's what's going to get us the first downs to move forward to get touchdowns, I'm going to do that. So all in all, I'm happy with it. The Sure, the four picks by Darnold in the Rams game, but the Rams are also I hear are a good football team from what I hear. So even despite the Carolina loss that happened this past week, they're still a really good football team, and we played like poop, and we were still kind of in it. So if we could just not play as poopy, we'll probably take the Thursday night game. I'm hoping, but all in all, I'll give it an A. I like it.
Sean, what have you thought?
I mean, I don't know how it could be anything other than A plus plus. I don't
Anthony
I,
Bradford's a big
but
deficit.
like overall, like I'm
He
just saying,
takes a
like
plus away. That's what he does.
we're winning games very decisively. It's what I've been kind of preaching for a while. Why the writing was kind of on the wall for Pete before. I get the whole you can't win till the fourth quarter, but like you can really put your foot down on some teams. You don't have to make everything close. You don't have to allow bad teams. You'd lose to bad teams more often because you wouldn't do that. There's some of these games we all know it. Like some of these like the Saints and the Vikings games and some of these other games, we'd keep it close in years past. And this year we are not. It's just like let's end this early. Now we did keep this Vikings game a little closer than we'd like at least early on. But by the time it was halftime, I don't think anybody was still worried that it was going to be a game. And then it really just got ugly after that. So but we've really just put our foot down on some teams, and we've been lacking that killer instinct for a while. Just like don't blow it, don't blow it, don't blow it. Everything was too passive, and this team is just letting it rip. And yeah, Sam Darnold is going to turn the ball over sometimes, and it's going to happen. I will say though, like to Kevin's point this week, the O line. I'll say this. I think it was a combination of the O line, and I think a lot of it comes down to Clint Kubiak because I am some guy online who does a fair amount of like listening to podcasts and things like that, and doing a little bit of like watching some things and learning some things. But like, I'm not somebody who should be like dissecting game plan. And I'm coming into this week was like, don't get into third longs because he's gonna blitz you. That's it. Period. They're gonna blitz you on the right side. Like end of game plan. And that is what happened the entire first half. Like how many times I don't know if you guys were on the feed. I'm saying like, don't stop running on second and long because we're gonna get 3 yards. It's gonna be 3rd and 7, and they're gonna blitz him. And that happened like 6 times. You can go on the feed and in real time watch me say that over and over and over and over and over. I'm saying stop doing this. Like stop because they're running on second and long again. It sets you up into obvious passing downs. And this guy's like, I'm gonna heat up Sam Darnold on 3rd down. I'm gonna blitz at Anthony Bradford and Abe Lucas. Stop it. And they're just overwhelmed every time. And it was just like, no, not every time, obviously, but like majority of the time they do that or fake that side and show and then do something else. But like in grand scheme of things, they're like putting pressure on that right side. And I'm just like, guys, like I'm somebody at home that sees that. You should know that coming in, that's what they're going to do. They even said, Brian Flores even said, like, I'm going to blitz him. I love Sam Darnold. I'm going to blitz him. Okay, like, how did we get surprised by this? Like, what, Clint, like, I appreciate you adjusting, and it was great. And it's over the past couple of years, it hasn't been that way. But why did we even come into that with that plan? Like, it was going to happen. They were going to do one thing: third passing situations, blitz you. I'm like, come on, you should have seen that a little bit better because against better teams, you play like that for a half, you're going to be behind, and then you're going to have to be passing more, and that kind of plays in. It kind of we're the opposite side of the LOB, where now we're having to pass it into a team that wants you to pass it, like. And that's how the game snowballed. And I don't want us to be in that situation again. But other than that, other than Clint, like, but then he did adjust. He did do that. And the running game got going. It was great to see that. Yeah, like to Kevin's point, I don't care if JSN gets 500 catches. There was one play where we got a 3rd down in the first half to White. And they showed on the replay, and they show a guy underneath JSN and over the top of JSN. They're doubling JSN. So someone else is going to have to get open. And they're just feeding Cooper Kupp these easy one-on-one routes. I'm like, good. He's going to win those every time. Get some A.J. Barner, get some running lanes. Because that's the benefit of having one of these monsters is they're going to absorb a lot of attention, and then the other guys will make the plays. And you just have into keeping, like, if you're going to keep doing this, we're going to keep feeding Cooper Kupp and A.J. Barner, and we're going to keep running it at you. And until that happens, and it started to happen in the second half, they got wide open lanes. They were doing their thing. They're not going to – why would you then game plan against anybody other than the JSN at this point? You make them get off. And that's what the nice part about having DK and Tyler at the same time when they're both at the height of their powers. You couldn't do it. One was going to kill you. Me and Kevin talked about it in the game. Like DK DK was going off and off and off, and then that was it the Monday night or Thursday night game? It was a primetime game. I can't remember what it was. It was in Arizona. They're like, we're gonna focus on DK, and they were talking about the thing. We're gonna get him. That was the game where Ty went for 240 and like 3 touchdowns or something like that. And they're like, and everyone were like, okay, we can't do that against. We just can't let Tyler run around. DK might drop a ball, but Tyler's gonna just kill us if we just let him go. So like we got to have another threat, like another Tyler or another DK in this situation. And I think we are. We have the guys to do it. We just got to throw it. Just throw it. Don't force it to JSN. And I think Clint did a good job of not forcing that. People online were freaking out saying that's the problem, that's the problem, that's the problem. Like, no, you're in 3rd and 8 and they're blitzing you. Just stop trying to force you on guy on 3rd and 8 maybe, and let's go somewhere else with it. Like, you're fine. So we figured that out and it was good. But other than those little nitpicky things, like, what are we, 9-3? I thought we'd win 10 to 11 games this year. Pretty good case scenario, like 80 percentile. Like, obviously, I always leave the percentages of like, hey, you could go off, could go crazy. We're already almost there at as it stands right now. So I don't, and against with games with Atlanta, Carolina on our schedule, the Colts who are frauds. Like, I think there's a real path we could like. I think online it says if we win out, we control our destiny. I think even with tiebreakers, I think we jump the Bears or something like that. I think that's what they say. We control our destiny the rest of the way. So do the thing. Like if you told me we'd be 12 games into the season, we control our own destiny for the #1 seed in the NFC, I'd take that every day. And yeah, A+. Okay, one A+, not A++ because Anthony Bradford, but he knocks 1+ off. But yeah.
Yeah, I mean, Cardinals game, boy, that was over fast. That was crazy. 2 Dexter Lawrence touchdowns. And we all predicted that game. Sean and I were right on the Rams game. I mean, the fact that they had 4 turnovers and were still a field goal away from winning the game is kind of
They
crazy.
were Matthew. They were
So,
a crazy punt away from winning that game. I mean, he punts
yeah,
it to the 10. They still have enough yards to kick that field goal. He has to
yeah,
punt it on the half-yard line for them to win that game. Like,
yeah. So, I mean, the fact that they were even in that game with those 4 turnovers is I don't know if I want to say a testament to their ability to stay in games because the defense really kept them in that one, especially with the Rams getting ahead and then the Seahawks kind of trying to claw their way back. So I like the effort. Of course, the loss isn't great, but at the very least, it could have been far worse with how you played. So um, that's an L that, uh, like I said, the Rams are a little bit weaselly in that aspect where they just kind of scraped out a tough win there. Titans game, that one. We weren't on to predict either of these games, Titans, Vikings. I think we all would have predicted the Seahawks to win both these games. Titans, that one was over pretty fast. I did see some stuff after the game. I don't really get on social media during the games, but I see after the game that people were concerned about like the Titans kind of scoring more later in the second half. I don't really care about that. That game was over, and they had to.
yeah,
Uh,
they
you
scored.
know,
They scored one touchdown with like 40 seconds left and had to get an onside kick and then score another touchdown. It was over.
yeah,
Like,
yeah,
yeah,
it was
whatever.
over. So like, the defense, they did their thing, and teams are going to try and battle back, and whatever. That game was pretty much over. Vikings game, obviously the offense took a while to get going, so that was a little bit concerning. Like the defense had the first touchdown. Um, so there were some things that you do look at and go, that could be an issue. But 26-0, you really can't complain about the result, and the defense looks solid. So where they're sitting 9-3, like, I think we all can agree that we are very happy with where this team is at right now. There are some things that I have been told by people that are a little eyebrow raising. One of my friends who is a Denver Broncos fan, he told me that there are some numbers for this defense that are comparable to the Legion of Boom. And I I don't know if you guys have heard the same thing. I don't really know what numbers he's quoting because he didn't tell me what numbers he was citing, but that I don't think is the case. Now, this defense is very good, don't get me wrong. But I don't think it rises to the LOB level just because the LOB it, they were so dominant, and this defense, while it is very good, is not as dominant as that defense was. I don't know what the metrics would say. Sean might know that. But this defense is very good. It would be great to get some pieces back. Julian Love will hopefully be back soon, so that will be good. And it sucks that Torrey Horton in his rookie season has kind of had it cut short because he was kind of emerging there until he got hurt. So that kind of sucks. But overall, it's been great to see this team stay relatively healthy. Obviously, there have been some issues. Jaron Reed, Torrey Horton, as I mentioned, and then as I mentioned, Julian Love. So there are some guys we hopefully get back here soon. But if this team can be full strength going in the final two, three, 4 games of the season, that's looking pretty promising. And Sean said they control their own destiny. That's great. And looking at the schedule, it doesn't look super difficult. But I don't know about you guys, how you feel about this NFL season, but there's no dominant team. There's no team that really scares you on paper. I don't know if there's been a season in recent memory where there's a team that there are no teams that are like, oh, that team is the clear best. Like last year, the Chiefs and the Eagles and the Lions, and they all had these really good records, 1, 2 losses, and there are only one team, I think, that has 2 losses this year, and that's the New England Patriots. So it's kind of interesting to see how the league has such um, parity. The Panthers can beat the Rams, and the Raiders can beat the Patriots, who now look like a team who could compete for Super Bowl. So it's kind of weird how this season is unfolding, and I think it makes it for a pretty exciting season because you know, when it comes down to playoff prediction time, it's going to be interesting to see who thinks who's going to win here and win there. And there are a lot of debates online about who the MVP is. I'm not really sure there's a great argument for one specific guy. I know it's probably going to go to a quarterback, and it sounds like it's going to be Drake May or Matthew Stafford at this point, but there none of these players on any of these teams really stand out as like an MVP guy. They're not having the numbers that Lamar Jackson had or Josh Allen has had in recent years during their MVP season. So it's kind of interesting to see who they might select as an MVP and then who emerges from either conference because you look at some of these division leaders like Jacksonville, Denver, uh name an AFC North team. I have no idea what that division's doing. And then you've got the AFC North, which looks like New England might be taking over the top spot from Buffalo. So there are a lot of teams where like you could see a path, you could see an argument, but you could also see a counter argument to that team making a run in the postseason. So that part's kind of interesting to see. Let's talk a little bit about a piece of news that I'm curious if you guys have any interest in is that Quandre Diggs is back on the Seattle Seahawks. He re-signed after being released from the Tennessee Titans earlier. I don't think he ever is going to really play, but it's interesting to see him wanting to come back, and he also said this is where he wanted to be. So I kind of find that a little bit interesting. Now I don't think he sees the field, but it's just interesting to bring back a guy when you have Julian Love who's going to come back at some point. You have Ty Okada who has emerged. I don't want to take him off the field if he has an opportunity to get on the field. And Kobe Bryant has been fairly solid for the most part, and at the safety position. So, Sean, does this do anything for you? Does it mean anything to you?
No, I don't need to see him. Like you said, Okada's been fine. I think the safety play has been. I think it might be like maybe Julian Love's a little more hurt than we thought, but I don't. I don't care. I want the guys playing that are playing right now. Like I don't have any. I have not once this season been like, man, that safety screwed up. Either safety. Like I just it's not been my issue on this team. So I have told our friend several times, and I told Kevin the other day, I'll tell this podcast. I'm at the point now where if Mike makes a move on defense or signs somebody or drafts somebody, who am I to judge this move at this point? I mean, he found the fountain of youth with Dexter Lawrence at this point. No one in our wildest dreams, including Dexter Lawrence, I thought he'd play this well. But I think it just shows, like, because we've seen what the Baltimore's defense is now without Mike McDonald. Like, he puts these guys in the right position. He just does. He knows how to, he gets a certain trait, or I don't know what he's looking for in certain guys. He's like, this guy, this guy, this guy, boom, I can get them in the right spot to do the right thing. And he is playing all the pieces. So if he wants to sign Earl Thomas again, I don't know. Like, I'll be like, you know what? I'll shut up. Like, I just assume you're gonna know what you're doing. Like, do it. My thing is like, it's great for depth. He's a young, because it's a kind of a really young DB room now without Julian Love back there. So if he wants to get some veteran presence, just kind of like coach the guys, kind of thing, that's fine. But like you said, Matthew, based on play, I don't think anybody in the secondary deserves to take a bench to this guy right now. Yeah, he needs to. They just need to keep rolling with what they got. But if he's not taking some young kid off a roster spot that I don't know, clear that I don't know enough, I think it's fine. I'll trust Mike McDonald.
Kevin, what do you think?
Yeah. Honestly, I think it's just a depth piece. Like, sure, it's really nice, but like, should he start over anything right at the moment? No. He's just there just in case like Okada and Bryant get hurt. And Julian Love's not back to where you feel confident with Diggs out there, and then like as Sean said, he's going to add veteran presence in the meeting room to where like yeah, keep the guys in line, give them good feedback and things along that line, pat on the butt, whatever is needed. So yeah, I'm okay with it, but it's not like oh my God, this is great. It's just yeah.
All right. Well, let's do a couple predictions. I'm hoping we get another episode in after, or at the very least, maybe in between these games. But let's talk Seattle at Atlanta. That is coming up on Sunday, 10 a.m. on Fox. Um, Atlanta's just not a good team. Um, it it slightly feels like a trap game. Um, but I expect the Seahawks to go out there and handle business. I think the Falcons will put up a decent fight. Um, but ultimately, I do think the Seahawks will prevail. So I'm probably gonna go. I'm gonna go 30-24 Seattle on this one. Sean, what do you think?
I think it's generous that you say the Falcons score 24. Um, uh, the Falcons are they're a mess. Uh, I don't know if I want to say it, but look, the nerds are right. This is a terrible draft decision. But yeah, I think I'll say 31-10. I just think what offenses are they going to put out there? Like, who's scoring? You know what I mean? Like, maybe Bijan cracks one long one that run. That's what I'm going to give him. Because in the passing game, what are you doing? Like, what is this team going to do? So maybe they'll get 17 if it's a garbage time touchdown, but I'll say 31-10.
Devin,
I
what
don't
do
think
you
it's
think?
close.
I think they put on more points than what you guys are putting on.
Ooh.
I think they drop a 40 burger on that defense is not good. It's really not. I mean, Cam Ward's like best games have been against Atlanta.
And you said Kevin, me and Kevin were watching the game. Bryce Young has
Oh, Bryce
destroyed
Young.
this.
Yeah,
Bryce,
that's what it
yeah,
is. Yeah,
has
Bryce Young.
destroyed this team.
Yeah. Twice. So honestly, I'll say 40-17.
Damn.
Can I get a prediction? Can my
Damn.
fantasy running back Kenneth Walker get a rushing touchdown?
No.
So
No,
should
they're
I play
gonna
Charbonnet?
I do. I think he gets a rushing
I think
touchdown.
Charbonnet
I
gets
think
one, and I think we get another Barner tush push.
Barner
So
tush push. Okay, you heard it here first.
no, I'm calling Kenneth Walker touchdown. Also because I need it in our Yahoo league. So that's also why I'm calling it.
I need it, but
Um,
man, I haven't. Cannot get one. I mean, I'm not complaining. We're 9-3. There's not a lot to
I'll
complain
say
about. But
okay,
man,
I'll
if
say
I
this.
can,
I'll say Kenneth Walker passing touchdown.
oh, oh, that's
Kenneth
interesting.
Walker passing touchdown. You're getting
Oh,
crazy now, Kevin.
throw that on Vegas and see what you get back if you win that one. All right, let's go with the next week. The Seahawks are hosting the Colts on Sunday, 1:25 p.m. This one's on CBS. I'm curious what the line is on this one. I don't have it pulled up here. Uh, this is interesting. Sean calls the Colts frauds, and I do agree to a certain extent, um, because I don't think anyone really predicted that the Colts would be where they are right now. Um, but as I've talked with a friend at work, it's they were 8-2, they were looking good, and you know I think all of us know what Daniel Jones is capable of in terms of the depths of terribleness. But for the most part, he's been pretty solid. Now, I generally think that Jonathan Taylor is the reason why this team has been so good, and Daniel Jones is just kind of there. But that seems to be the plan to stop the Colts, to stop Jonathan Taylor, and then you make Daniel Jones make mistakes, and then it's kind of over. So I do think this is going to be a decently close game. Um, but score wise, I don't know, man. I think this could be kind of like a weird little slugfest. So I think I'm gonna go 21-20 Seahawks. Kevin, what do you think?
I wouldn't say it'd be that close, but it will be closer-ish. Um, the defense is better than what a lot of people think. Um, and they did just go get Sauce, even though Sauce hasn't had a great year, but I mean, it's all
I think
injury.
he left the game yet
Yeah, he
last
was
week
hurt,
too.
but he might be back.
Right?
He could
Uh,
be back for the Seahawks game.
um, I'm gonna say 24-16.
Sean, what do you think?
Um, I will say this, as Matthew's point, Jonathan Taylor is that team, and that's why they are frauds. Running back, if it's 2025 and your running back's your team, you're not very good. The best team they beat is the Chargers, I guess, and then other than that, Broncos are frauds too. But the Cardinals, oh, they beat the Dolphins, I guess. Like that's the next best. They just have had a cakewalk schedule. They all their hard games are next. They play the 8-4 Jags, the 9-3 Seahawks, the 9-4 Rams, the 8-4 Jags again, and then the Texans again. So they might not win a game the rest of the year. Like literally, they might be 8-9 at the end of the season. And Daniel Jones has a broken bone in his foot. I think it is. Yeah, foot.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah.
So I just think that there's nothing there. The Seahawks just have to like Kevin said, the defense is a little better than on paper, but at that with that said, this offense should still put up points. I'm gonna say 28 to I'll give them 14. 28-14.
All right, and we got a little bit of time left, so I do want to come back to Sean's point about frauds because he's got all his team frauds. So looking at the both conferences right now, I'm gonna say
Yeah,
you have to take the Seahawks out because we
yeah.
probably have a little bit of bias. Who are you considering the front
Yeah,
runners in each
I've
conference?
I actually had this conversation over the weekend. So I will include the Seahawks in the NFC. I would say there's four teams. Um, and this year has been kind of fluky because there's a big shift in power and injuries in the AFC. It's kind of why it's led over there, because there's two juggernauts that are just hurt. So and they're finally getting healthy, but let's see if it's too little, too late. But I would say in the NFC, the Rams and the Seahawks are really, really good teams. The Packers, and then probably the Lions are still really good teams. Everybody else either has huge holes or like the Falcons, the Eagles have gone like multiple halves with like 100 yards, like 100 yards games. Like Jalen Hurts had less than 100 yards of total offense and they beat the Chiefs somehow because that's also indicative of that the Chiefs have been up and down this year. So like they're not very good at football. Yeah, so that's the four teams in the NFC, and then the AFC. It's basically I had it written out. It is oh gosh, I gotta look at all the teams now. It's the Bills. Uh, I had Bills, Chargers, and Texans as the three guys because Texans needed just not Bills to play because it's more that defense is super legitness. They just need competent quarterback play with Collins and that team to be like a very good NFL team. They have them. They just beat the Colts. But then it comes to two sleeping giants. Do Kansas City and Baltimore ever figure out the names on the front of their jerseys? Like, oh, we're Kansas City and Baltimore. We have MVPs, and then they just play football to that. So because like Denver and New England, Drake May, everybody's the nerds saw it coming. Drake May was going to be good. Maybe not leading the league in passing yards, good, but like they're good. But again, like a lot of these teams are having like really easy schedules and they're flipping it this year, where like some of the good teams have really played down too. Like Baltimore and Kansas City have really been a huge letdown, and the Chargers would have been much better. Just me and Kevin talk about it too. They just they're cursed, man. They're just straight up cursed. Like they can't have a healthy tackle, like any of them, like either of the two. They draft two guys in the top 10 back-to-back years, and they're both just hurt. And then Matthew, we like the running back they drafted. He's hurt too. Like it's just like, can you just be a little healthy and help Herbert out there back there? But they're like, no, we can't do that. We did draft and helped you and everything, and then everybody's hurt. And it's just like I feel like in the AFC, and then obviously the Burrow situation, you saw what he looks like in just one game back and before. And I mean, he means a lot to that team. Turns out, it's kind of been a weird fluky year, and I think the NFC is in so much of a transition because you said you take away those quarterbacks or those coordinators from the Lions, and you see what Ben Johnson's doing with the Bears. I just think that it's a transition. The Bears are getting better. They just don't have a ton of talent left or talent on the team as it stands. He's clearly making them better, but are like talent wise they a great team? No, not yet. I think that that's the case. And so, like the Eagles have very serious issues going on because it has not been. The offense has been prolonged having huge issues. Saquon Barkley is just trash now. AJ Brown's like trade me, don't do this. Like in the locker room, like they're just falling apart. They're winning games by like they beat the Bronco. What is it? They lost to the Broncos and had like 80 yards or something like that. They beat the Buccaneers and had less than 80 yards after in the second half of total offense or something like that. Like they just didn't do anything, but they like held on somehow because the Bucks also aren't that great. It's just like the NFC's like in a limbo situation right now, which was like why I'm like, if you look at it, three teams who have won 9 games already are all in the NFC West. Like the NFC West is full of juggernauts. And if the NFC, I will say this, me and Kevin were talking about it. If the 49ers are healthy, they're a nightmare right now on this team. It's a runaway, and they're beat up, and they're still 9-3 right now, like or 9-4 because they played one more game.
Yeah, 9-4. They have bye
Yeah,
week this week.
yeah. So, but I'm just like, I feel like there's a lot of teams in limbo due to injuries or like transition of how the league is shifting with talent because there's some injury situations happening. But I think the top teams right now, like, are the Bears and the Patriots the best teams in the NFC and the NFC? No, like just talent wise, they're just not the best team, and we still got weeks to go. Because there was a couple years ago when DVA was like, oh man, the DVA like the judging like how good you are versus your schedule, all that stuff. It was the year the Titans and the Packers were the one seeds in both divisions. They're like it's the weakest number one seeds in the history of DVA, and we expect them both to lose. And they both lost the first game they played. Just because you finish the one seed doesn't mean you're actually the best team. It happens all the time. Now, often it does, but like just because it doesn't automatically lock you. Like the Bears are not the most talented team. I would say the Seahawks and like right now, guys. Like just general question to you: Seahawks play the Bears in Chicago, or the Rams play them in Chicago. Are you putting money on the Bears to beat either of those teams right now?
I
I
don't
would
know. I don't know.
say it could be
I don't know.
close.
Yeah, I
Now,
don't think
are
It
this
they?
is
could be
easy.
close, but I'm not putting
I
money
think
on the
I think
Bears
it
winning those
would.
games.
The only reason why, and we've talked about this before, and Sean will probably agree to this extent. What you are on paper matters, which the Hawks and the Rams are better on paper, but who's hotter at the moment? I would say that the
Uh,
Bears are hotter than the Rams and hotter than the Seahawks at the moment.
And I predicted the Bears to make playoffs because I felt like the coach was the reason why the Bears weren't good. I think there is talent on this team, and I
There's
I
talent,
I think
but
that Ben
like,
Johnson is making the best of the talent that's on this team, and
oh
that's
yeah,
why I think they could be a legitimate
I
contender.
I think they're 1 year away of acquiring more talent on the team as it stands because just like on defense, there's just not a lot there. Like, and their pass catchers have not really lived up to their billing. Ronald Oduzier's kind of been a disappointment. I mean, have are we? I mean, their tight end's been great actually. He's been kind of picking up the slack, but their wide receivers have not really lived up to it. So I think Ben Johnson is making most of it, but at a certain point, like, yeah, Ben Johnson's been a great coach, but the Lions haven't won a Super Bowl because like you have to have a certain level of talent. Like you still have to like talent does matter at a certain point. Coaching and everything can prevail. Like I'll say this right now with Pete Carroll. Pete Carroll's better than a 2-9 head coach. There's just no talent on the
Is he
Raiders.
though?
That's why we thought yes. They're
Yeah,
like
yeah.
we said this when it coming in. Why are you going to the Raiders? There's void of talent. Like there's just nothing. Like and then you waste your first round pick on a running back. Like obviously that's going to happen. Like maybe that's part of Pete Carroll's equation. But I'm just saying like there has to be a bar of talent that I just don't know if the Bears are at right now. Like if you told me right now if the Texans switched quarterback coordinators and Ben Johnson on that team that's flipped it, Texans I would be like Super Bowl contenders, no doubt about it. But because the Texans have a ton of talent, the Bears just don't. But their coaching is so much better; it's elevated them. And obviously the Texans, CJ was hurt for a while too. But like that's where I just think that like Ben is really elevating this team, but I just think his ceiling right now with talent is just it's not there. Now, could any team get lucky and make a run? Yeah. I mean, we watched Eli do it twice, but that doesn't luck isn't like what are you're mortgaging a house on. Like I think at any point right now, the Rams or the Seahawks, they're going to be the favorites when they play the Bears. It's just what it's going to be right now because they're just more talented and they're really good. Like there's no advantage in coaching. Mike McDonald's been a beast, and Sean McVay's Sean McVay. Like you're not getting a ton right there.
All right, we gotta end here. Follow us on Blue Sky X. Subscribe to us. Like our videos. Tell us what you think in the comments below. We'll hopefully be back in a week or two. With that, we'll see you next time. Washington, East to West Sports. Bring back our Sonics.